The last thing I saw before the screen went black was my mother's name lighting up beside a wire transfer confirmation. $420,000 to an account under the Path Within Foundation. I didn't even recognize the bank. "Wait, what the hell is this?" I gasped, eyes flicking between the grainy security camera footage and my phone. Her living room looked like a shrine now. Tapestries, candles, crystals. She stood there, barefoot, handing the man in white a check with both hands like it was a relic. That man was Daniel Hales, the same man I'd begged her to stay away from. My apartment spun. I tried calling her, straight to voicemail. Again. And then I saw the text. "Alex, please understand I need to walk my path now. Do not try to contact me. This is peace." Peace. After everything. The last time we spoke, I was standing next to Dad's freshly covered grave, and she was holding that same man's hand, her fingers curled into his palm like a lifeline. I didn't know him then. He said nothing, just stared at me with a soft smile, like I was a frightened animal. Now he had her. I jumped into my car and drove to the house, tires screaming at every turn. I still had a key, though I hadn't used it in months. She used to text me every day, then weekly, then nothing. When I pulled up, the for sale sign stood like a tombstone on the lawn. I slammed the door open. Gone. Everything. The couch, Dad's record player, even the fridge. The place was stripped to its bones, and all I could hear was the echo of my own breathing. My footsteps dragged me upstairs. Her bedroom door was open. On the wall, there was a framed quote, "Detach from illusion. Truth awaits." Underneath it, a photo of her and Hales in white robes, eyes closed, foreheads touching. There was a file on the desk, property sale, power of attorney, her signature. I couldn't breathe. I stood there, shaking, trying to find a place to anchor myself. I opened the nightstand drawer and found Dad's watch. I clutched it like a tourniquet. I sat on the floor for an hour, maybe more. Then I called Detective Parson again. She sounded tired. "She's not missing, Alex, and we can't force someone to leave a group they've joined willingly. There's no sign of coercion, no signs of abuse. She has the right to choose. To choose to give away her life savings? She's an adult. I'm sorry." Sorry. I stared at the empty house until the sun went down. Then I locked the door behind me. The next time I said her name aloud, it was in a whisper, in the middle of the night, into a mirror. "I'm going to get you back, Mom." And to him, "I'm going to end you." I didn't have a plan, not then. I only had insomnia, a worn-out laptop, and the sick, quiet hum of rage that settled in behind my ribs and refused to leave. I started where any developer would. I built a crawler, scripted it to scrape every bit of public content from the Path Within, social posts, blog entries, sermons, photos. I charted every event, every retreat, tracked the cadence of Hale's vocabulary, the rhythms of his seduction, enlightenment, transcendence, detachment, his gospel of unaccountability. I learned their entry points, how new recruits were softened with late-night Zoom calls, private consultations, emotional unloading disguised as healing, how they were broken down gently and completely. Then I changed my name. Not legally, just enough to become someone else online. Ethan Vale. A grieving son seeking spiritual answers. I shaved the beard, let my hair grow, leaned into the ache in my eyes. When I first joined the forum, I kept my story vague. My dad had died. My mom was lost. I was alone. The responses were immediate, warm, accepting, manipulative. They invited me to a weekend immersion. I booked a cheap flight to Sedona, Arizona. The moment I arrived, it felt like a dream I couldn't wake from. Everyone in white, everyone smiling too wide. And there he was, Daniel Hales in the flesh, charisma like a gravitational field. "Welcome, Ethan," he said, and touched my shoulder. "We've been waiting for you." He held my gaze too long. I smiled, shaky but steady. Feels like I've been waiting for this. The lie came out clean. He nodded. They assigned me a guide, Shira, mid-30s, ex-dancer from New York. She led me through the rituals, silent mornings, shared confessions, guided detachment practices. I kept my head down and watched everything. At night, in the tiny cabin they gave me, I uploaded hidden GoPro footage to an encrypted drive. Every chant, every whisper, every time Hales asked for donations to maintain spiritual space. I caught a group of volunteers forging signatures on a shipment invoice. I noted how they kept tithing records separate from the actual accounting books. I came back to Portland with hours of video, names, dates, discrepancies. I cross-referenced tax records, scanned metadata, tracked offshore accounts linked to shell nonprofits. Then I found her, my mom, in one of the videos, holding hands with 2 other women. She looked thinner, hollow, but she smiled. It twisted my stomach. I called Parson again. She said, "Still voluntary, Alex. Unless you can show financial fraud or exploitation." I can. I packaged the footage, the accounting discrepancies, and a burner statement from Ethan Vale, sent it all to an investigative reporter at the Seattle Ledger under strict anonymity. Then I forwarded the same packet to a firm known for suing cults and spiritual scammers. Class action suits, IRS filings, all of it. And then I waited. I checked the feeds every hour. I refreshed articles. I followed hashtags. It didn't feel like revenge yet. It felt like setting a fuse. But I knew what was coming. The article dropped 3 weeks later. Inside, the path within. Fraud, control, and the charismatic man who took millions. I read it in the office bathroom, the door locked, heart slamming. They used screenshots from my footage. My mother was blurred. Hales was not. His eyes looked empty in stills, predatory. A photo of the Sedona compound. A caption. Former members allege psychological coercion and financial exploitation. That night, my inbox filled with alerts. News outlets picked it up. Reddit lit up. Lawsuits were filed. A federal probe announced within days. And then silence. No public statements from Hales. No rebuttals from the organization. Just a slick, eerie vanishing act. Their website went dark. Socials deleted. The compound, deserted according to satellite images. He was gone. But my mother wasn't. She showed up a week later at my apartment door. Her clothes hung off her like she'd shrunk, hair cropped unevenly, face drawn. She didn't knock. I just opened the door to grab my takeout, and there she was, arms crossed like she was holding herself together. I couldn't speak. "Alex," she said, and her voice cracked. I stepped back, unsure, afraid to touch her, like she might break. She didn't cry. She just looked around the apartment like it was a place she used to know. I didn't know where else to go. I nodded, stepped aside, let her in. She walked slowly, paused in front of the photos on the shelf. Dad's face stared back at us from behind the glass. Her shoulders heaved once, but she didn't break. I made tea. She sat in silence. Later, she whispered, "He said if I left, I'd lose everything. I already had." I didn't answer. I just passed her the cup. The news kept coming. Bank accounts frozen, former followers testifying, a federal warrant issued. No trace of Hales. The world moved on. My mother didn't ask questions. Neither did I. Some truths were meant to be buried, not explained. She stayed with me for weeks. We cooked in silence, read side by side. I never told her what I'd done. She never asked. And one morning I woke up to find the watch I'd taken from her nightstand sitting on the kitchen table. Beside it, a note. "I remember. Thank you." No signature. She was gone again, but this time I knew where she'd gone, to herself.